Echo Stephen A's point about what Ime did. We know his name. Maybe I'm missing something as it relates to the law, but why we don't know her name? It's not like she's a minor. I feel like we should know her name publicly as well. But with that being said, I respectfully disagree with the legend Michael Wilbon. This is why. I feel like he deserves the opportunity to work again. And if he's going to work again,
I agree with
based on that, and if the net Yeah, let me have a conversation about my blackness for a second. In an election year, and also when you have circumstances that Ime Udoka put himself in, circumstances that you have Kyrie Irving put himself in, I've literally seen people trying to politicize the messengers, and I'm one of those people. And let me just say this out loud. It's very important. I did more for this culture before 9 a.m. today than most people gonna do in their lifetime. Just because I don't think Kyrie should be derailing the next season, just because I don't believe that the lady's name should be exposed based on the fact that the power dynamics are at play and it's more to the Ime situation than most of you guys know. If I'm not trumpeting what is low-hanging fruit, that don't make me a sellout. And by the way, I was with the great Sir Charles Barkley last night. And we had a 2-hour conversation about this. 2-hour conversation about this in person. Had a 2-hour conversation with Charles Barkley about this. Just because I don't agree with Kanye or Kyrie, that don't mean that I'm cooning for the man. That means that I don't believe what he's doing is right. That's a fact. And so it's important for people that look like me, Jacoby, in particular, to not politicize what's happening with Kyrie and Ime and Kanye and shoot the messenger. I ain't gonna always ride with somebody just because they black. If I think you wrong, I don't care what color you are. That's just being real. I ain't about to be following behind nobody that I think is wrong. And let me tell y'all something else. What he doing ain't an act of civil rights. He's not being oppressed. He ain't being oppressed. He get $40 million to play basketball this year. He ain't being oppressed. So I just had to say that. And woosah. Because this podcast is therapy for me.
I wish I didn't have to hear this guy. You know, I really wish I didn't have to hear this guy. He took it one for the team and shit, supposedly. You know, it's sad. It's so fucking sad, man. He's like, I've now started calling him Mr. Roboto and shit because he's gone, man. This guy's fucking gone and shit. I have no respect. I had little to no, almost no respect back in the old days when he actually played and shit because, you know, I was in Los Angeles and the Lakers was running all over his ass. They were just stomping the shit out of him. You know, fuck you if you're a fanboy of this guy, especially after listening to his bullshit. You know, all he had to do was just shut up. Like a bunch of times, just shut up. I'm not talking about the first time when he brought up the Ime Udoka situation. I'm not talking about that. But I'm just talking about the other shit. You know, with this guy, he didn't have to say shit. He didn't have to say shit. And after he fucked up that first time and mentioned that Umeo Doka bullshit, which was a valid point, they was like, well, we have a useful tool right here. They went to that commercial break and shit, and they came back with the generic Jalen Rose. All right, Mr. Roboto. You listen to his tone. It's like nothing. It's infused with fear. And you can't be a real man with like a pervasive sense of fear. You'll never take any chances. You'll never, you know, go over the precipice. Like find out who you truly are. A lot of guys don't learn that until it's too late. You got to take chances. You got to take risks and whatnot. And you're indebted to somebody for your lifestyle and everything. If they can just flip a switch and turn off all your assets and stuff, then you haven't become truly a man. All right, he's not willing to take that chance and shit. This guy's a multi-millionaire, a big time multi-millionaire. He's rich, and he showed that he has no power. He's weak and shit. And by proxy, it makes me sad. I've been sad about professional sports for a long time because I can't watch the shit. I can't endorse that as a human being. It's a violation of his human rights. Even this goofy right here. The other guy, Kyrie Irving, man, taking on the chin, man. And I hope he remains fucking silent and shit because it's real fucking egregious. It's real egregious and shit. Kyrie Irving, they gave Kyrie Irving fucking 6 things that he had to do to play again. Just for the privilege of playing again, and they paying him for that shit. I'm like, he's doing the job and shit. He wasn't like not in arrears in his job. He was doing this fucking job. He's one of the top guys in the league and shit, doing this fucking job. There's some shit he did on his personal time, and everybody has something to say about it because, well, we're black, okay? When you're black, you have a penis and everything, and you ain't sticking it in a forbidden door. Your ass is micromanaged to death. And, fuck it, man. I got to keep railing on that shit, in between my usual activities. Have a little fun here with Mr. Roboto Jalen Rose, the fake Jalen Rose, the bootleg Jalen Rose, the total bootleg, man. Oh, my God. Yeah, listen to shit, man. And I was like, man, this is like a John Steinbeck moment and shit, like of mice and men. This like whatever that character name was, Shorty, and the other dude named Lenny and shit, the big retarded, he went to put him down for doing something. I feel the same way. This nigga is the dude that needs to, kind of needs to be put down, I guess he should just take a canceling, okay? Should be canceled. The black community canceled him, but we have no power, And it's just a shame in our community. Our community's all fucked up. These people are out of pocket and shit. And they're out of pocket, man. They're racist. That is racist. Okay, racist. R-A-C-I-S-T, racist. Just saying it, man. When you trying to control a motherfucker when he ain't even on the clock, like you can't do certain things and this and that and other and all up in your shit. That's why I hate that shit, That's why I can't watch them professional sports, Oh man. Now it started with that goddamn Stephen A. Smith and Malika Andrews and shit, how she was fucking with him. And she in her 20s talking to a motherfucker in his 50s and shit. I'm like, damn, bitch. Damn. They don't check her fucking ass. They reinforce feminine gynocratic bullshit, and other and straight up racism and shit, okay? And none of the niggas, I'm gonna be honest, man, none of these Negroes got any balls. The league should be at a standstill right now. All right, there's no fraternity amongst themselves. The shit, not like the old days. Maybe that was an illusion. Now, I'm talking about the real old days and shit, like when I was a little ass kid, like 10, 11 and shit. I'm in my fucking 50s, by the way. Some solidarity there. The shit wouldn't stand. They always talking all this shit about, oh, they know how to pick a house nigga and all this shit. Yeah, they want to be a house nigga for $1 million and some dollars. A lot of people would sell their ass, for a couple of $1 million and shit. Not even $1 million. Maybe a couple 100,000. You got some people out there with a price. I used to hear this shit all the time back in the day when I lived on the West Coast. I used to hear dudes talking about, I used to hear conversations like, oh, how much it take for you to, do something strange for some change and shit. Like dudes talk to another dude. And I hear that shit and I just shake my fucking head. This nigga, he's bug broke, man. Just bug broke. And I don't know, every time I feel like doing some shit, I might pull out Mr. Roboto here and have some fun with him and shit. All right, I might pull out Mr. Roboto, Jalen Rose, the bootleg, the original bootleg. He said he did more for the culture before we even get up. By 9 a.m. he did more for the culture than anybody else. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. Him and a bunch of other dudes are just straight up coons and shit. Now, I don't know what to say about him. Then this motherfucker, he pull a Kwame Brown, man. He's all like the great Sir Charles Barkley. I'm like, Sir Charles Barkley? All right. That where you getting your advice from? A fat idiot who never amounted to shit in his fucking league. All right, I don't give a fuck about none of his stats. He ain't got no fucking ring. He ain't got no goddamn ring. And there's a lot of better men that don't have rings either. Shit, that's much better than him. You don't see them out there cooning this shit. All right? We all know what this is about. Everybody knows what it's about, man. It's about making, Kyrie Irving say his name is Toby. All right, they just want to mess with him and shit, man. They ain't got nothing. There's nothing else about it. All right, it started with that goddamn Malika, whatever her fucking name is. She the first bitch. I'm like, man. And then I'm like, to me, I was like, if I see any fools talking to her, after that shit with Stephen A. Smith and some other players and shit, people like Vince Carter or some shit. I'm like, man, if I see them talking to her, anybody in the NBA actually interacting with her, man, fuck it, they all bug broke and shit. But then we had Mr. Jalen Rose show up and shit, to fuck up. And we had a man who got canceled for tweeting a link. Tweeting a link, just doing some shit on the social media. All right, he wasn't having no fucking Zoom meeting with a bunch of black people and shit or nothing. He wasn't doing none of that shit. He wasn't promoting nothing. All right, he was just sharing a fucking link. Some shit he looked at. They could have looked the other way, but they wanted to shit because they don't think shit of you, athletes. They don't think your bosses and everything. They don't think shit of you. You are their slaves. You're the prize brutes. You're like some brutes out there, a Mustang, I guess, a stallion, whatever fuck you. I don't know what the analogy is, but they don't see you as nothing but property. Why else would you think they'll fuck with somebody, a man, and give him these points? Give him all these give him these points and shit, these 6 points, which ironically match the 6 stars of their religion. Right? It's the worst to think about and shit. The great Charles, what is Sir Charles Barkley? Man has been in drag more times than I can, surmise. Anyway, I'm running out of steam here. I'm pretty much done with this shit for right now. Let's get back to them bitches.
I'm rich, bitch!